So there's a beautiful conference happening, a very, I would say, impactful conference. It's in person and virtual, so you could definitely apply yourself. It's multi-pronged. Go there in person and be impacted, or you could log in. To give us all the details, we welcome, of course, Nigel Matthew, the host of the Caribbean Anti-Money Laundering Conference, and Anthony Peyson. Anthony Peyson is panelist for the Caribbean Anti-Money Laundering Conference. Anthony and Nigel, they join us. Anthony, of course, there with us, and Nigel to the top of the Zoom line. Good morning, gentlemen. Great to have you on the program.
Morning, Jason, and thanks for having us this morning so that we can share some insights into the upcoming Caribbean Anti-Money Laundering Conference.
Indeed.
Morning, Jason. Thanks for having us.
That's right. Now, Nigel will kind of give us some of the technical insight later on, but let me start off with some details concerning the conference. Nigel, is this the very first one? And tell us in terms of location and time frame, because I know it's a in-person scenario, but for those who can't make it, I understand they can also join in virtually. Give us some more details.
Yes, it is a hybrid conference, so people will be there at the Trinidad Hilton Conference Centre on March 28th, but this coming Thursday, Holy Thursday. And of course, people all over the world, especially many countries, we have over 15 countries, will be represented virtually in the Caribbean. We have people from South Africa, United States, and of course, England. You asked whether this is the first edition. No, this is the 11th edition of the Caribbean Anti-Money Laundering Conference. So each year we would host this conference right here in Trinidad, but of course, in terms of the new developments post-COVID, where everybody went virtual, we decided to have a hybrid edition, which is really the third installment of that. We have a packed audience in terms of the people who will be represented. Most people will be represented from organizations who have to comply with anti-money laundering, counter-financing of terrorism rules and regulations. So we have a cross-section in Trinidad and, of course, the Caribbean as well.
Understood. I want to bring in our technical person here, Anthony, because AI, a major talking point for the conference on Thursday, and some people are describing AI as a disruptor. Ultimately, with your technical ability and knowledge, is AI truly a disruptor? Is it something that can be detrimental to the community, or is it something that we could use to, I would say, assist us as we go forward? Because I realize it's here and it's not going anywhere. So where are you right now in this whole AI conversation, Anthony?
So thank you very much, Jason, for that question. In terms of AI is like any other tool. You can use it for good or you can use it for evil. So in terms of AI being a disruptor, it is definitely a disruptor. AI has found its way into almost everything we do. So the appliances we use, the platforms we use on the internet, email, everything we do has some AI component in it, and it's just going to increase. So in terms of cybersecurity and cyber defense, AI is used as a defensive tool. So we use AI in cybersecurity to help us to defend against cyber attacks, certain cyber attacks. On the flip side, you have those on the dark side who they utilize AI to power their malware or their cyber attack tools. Mm-hmm. And so it's a balance, and it's going to be a consistent fight, and we are hoping that the good side would win.
Of course.
Over the bad side.
I mean, isn't that the perpetual struggle of life, really, that battle between good and evil? And as you rightfully said, it's a tool, and many use it to assist them with their work, to help enhance what they're doing, to spot some of these discrepancies that could happen, especially when we look at this topic here, money laundering and that kind of issue. But then there are those too who could use it to shift and to twist figures and all that kind of stuff. I want to ask Nigel, we'll come back to Anthony in a few, but Nigel, who exactly is your target audience? Who are you looking forward to see there on Thursday in person and via the virtual link?
Right. In terms of the target audience, we're looking at what we call reporting entities. So within our regulatory requirement and obligations, you find that certain organizations like banks, insurance companies, mortgage companies, credit unions, and even some what we call non-financial organizations, such as people involved in motor sales, in real estate, selling jewelry, art, certain accountants, certain attorneys, they by law have to comply with AML conditionalities. So they definitely should be there. We're also looking at law enforcement, because at the end of the day, law enforcement is responsible for doing investigations to see if there's a prima facie a matter that can be brought before the DPP to charge someone for the offense of money laundering or terrorist financing. We're also looking at the regulators. Regulators in our jurisdiction, we talk about Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago, we talk about the Financial Intelligence Unit of Trinidad and Tobago as well, and we talk about the Securities and Exchange Commission. So it is a widespread of organizations and individuals who should be there, because you see, as Anthony mentioned, AI is definitely a disruptor. First, we had a disruptor with respect to COVID, let's say in 2019, 2020. And then we have this next disruptor, which is AI. And AI has really changed the whole landscape, how we have to fight white-collar crime, what systems and controls organizations that I mentioned must put in place. We cannot, let's say, piggyback on what we used to do 5-10 years ago. It has taken a whole different twist with respect to technological advancements. Different people ahead of us in terms of the perpetrators. So we, in terms of the controls, the regulators, the law enforcement, they have to be equipped with the capabilities, the capacity to really do proper investigations before someone can be brought before the court, and hopefully there should be a successful outcome.
Indeed, thank you, Nigel. Anthony, we consider technological advances. Nigel just mentioned what's happening with artificial intelligence. You just also mentioned, the struggle there. What about those who have no understanding of the space, no understanding of the time? Yes, I know the younger generation, they're very much connected. But for those of us middle-aged who really are a bit scared of the technology, we are intimidated by it, what's your advice to them? And if one does not engage with the technology, are we truly going to be left behind in this modern world?
Well, in my perspective, I think we should all embrace it, because it's here to stay. AI is going to be a way of life. It's integrated into almost everything we do. Most middle-aged elderly people use social media. There's AI in there. If you use Google runs on AI. Practically every powerful or any platform that is well known, that is utilized, uses AI. Simple devices like your phones and cameras and your television, they all use AI. AI is everywhere. There's no way we could escape it. So we should learn more about it and embrace it, because it's going to be a way of life.
Thank you for that, Anthony. And Anthony, of course, will be there on Thursday. Nigel, tell us, other than Anthony, who are some other folks on the panel, people who will be speaking? And is there a cost attached to the conference on Thursday? Let us know.
Yes, definitely. There's a cost attached to it, and people who are interested in attending can call our number 222-8928 or visit our website, NEM Leadership Consultants. But in terms of the persons who will be there speaking, we have speakers from all over the world. We have Mr. David Schwartz. He's the president and CEO of Financial and International Business Association out of Miami, and he'll be joining us virtually. Better known as FIBA. FIBA is responsible for the education, the development of what we call compliance professionals, risk professionals in the context of anti-money laundering. So that's a prized possession to have him on set with us come Thursday. We also have Mr. Stephen Platt, and he is one of the mastermind in terms of anti-money laundering controls. He has written a #1 book, what we call Criminal Capital. So again, coming out of the UK, he's going to bring some insights in terms of developments. We also have Dr. Melanie Prinsloo coming out of South Africa. She'll be joining us, and she'll be on a panel together with Anthony. Anthony will be focusing on cybersecurity. Dr. Milano from South Africa will be focusing on ESG, environment, social, and corporate governance. That has been something new in this part of the region. Joining Anthony and Dr. Milano on that panel will be Mr. Anil Prasad, and he's coming out of EY Caribbean, one of the big fives in the Caribbean in terms of auditing. He's also an advisor on data protection, data privacy, and of course, cybersecurity as well. We also have our very own Professor Rennie Cummins. And Rennie Cummins has done a tremendous amount of work internationally on the whole aspect of AI. So she's going to bring what are the trends out there, what are financial organizations, what are regulators, what law enforcement should be aware of in terms of ills penetrating our financial system that can bring harm to all of us. So she'll be looking at trends, and of course, she'll also be looking at solutions. What can we do? Because you find that, as I mentioned before, how we used to operate 10 years ago, we just can't. Because the whole landscape, the whole business model has disrupted because of artificial intelligence. So we have an international pack of speakers, and of course myself, I'll be talking more on payment systems. As you know, all payments, all e-commerce, all transactions are being done online. We have it here right here in Trinidad, and there might be some issues that we need to focus on. And of course, I'll be delving on that more in detail come March 28th at the Trinidad Hilton.
Nigel, a sincere thanks for coming on this morning. I know it will be a tremendous success. Probably after the dust settles, you could give us a nice little recap. And I want to also thank Anthony for your presence and advice this morning and giving us that analysis of the technology. Yes, it's good and evil. It's what you want to do with it. I'll stand on the side of good, Anthony, this morning. So it's all good.
That's good to hear.
All the best, gentlemen. Thanks for touching base.
Thanks a lot for having us.
Definitely. Up next, we will touch base with author Apostle Joseph Vernon Duncan. He is here to tell us about a truly amazing book. It's a handbook on tropical field vegetable production. Let's get into some of the details after the break.